Welcome to Ready Tube. I'm Ready Million, and I invite you to explore the world with me. On this channel, we dive into the rich histories, diverse cultures, and key facts about countries around the globe. From their geographical locations and population numbers to their capital cities and GDPs, join me as we uncover the essence of each nation. Let's embark on this journey together. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. From 1878 onwards, Emperor Menelik II launched a series of conquests known as Menelik's expansions, which resulted in the formation of Ethiopia's current border. Externally, during the late 19th century, Ethiopia defended itself against foreign invasions, including from Egypt and Italy. As a result, Ethiopia preserved its sovereignty during the scramble for Africa. In 1936, Ethiopia was occupied by Fascist Italy and annexed with Italian-possessed Eritrea and Somaliland, later forming Italian East Africa. In 1941, during World War, it was occupied by the British Army. And its full sovereignty was restored in 1944 after a period of military administration. The Derg, a Soviet-backed military junta, took power in 1974 after deposing Emperor Haile Selassie and the Solomonic dynasty, and ruled the country for nearly 17 years amidst the Ethiopian Civil War. Following the dissolution of the Derg in 1991, the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, EPRDF, dominated the country with a new constitution and ethnic-based federalism. Since then, Ethiopia has suffered from prolonged and unsolved inter-ethnic clashes and political instability marked by democratic backsliding. From 2018, regional and ethnically based factions carried out armed attacks in multiple ongoing wars throughout Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a multi-ethnic state with over 80 different ethnic groups. Christianity is the most widely professed faith in the country, with significant minorities of the adherents of Islam and a small percentage to traditional faiths. This sovereign state is a founding member of the UN, the Group of 24, the Non-Aligned Movement, the Group of 77, and the Organization of African Unity. Addis Ababa is the headquarters of the African Union, the Pan-African Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, the African Standby Force, and many of the global non-governmental organizations focused on Africa. Ethiopia became a full member of BRICS in 2024. Ethiopia is one of the least developed countries but is sometimes considered an emerging power, having the fastest economic growth in sub-Saharan African countries because of foreign direct investment in expansion of agricultural and manufacturing industries. Agriculture is the country's largest economic sector, accounting for 36% of the gross domestic product as of 2020. However, in terms of per capita income and the Human Development Index, the country is regarded as poor, with high rates of poverty, poor respect for human rights, widespread ethnic discrimination, and a literacy rate of only 49%. Etymology. Tradition holds that the name Ethiopia comes from the name of the first king of Ethiopia, Ethiop, or Ethiopis. Al-Burgiri explains. According to an Ethiopian tradition, the term Ethiopia is derived from the word Ethiopis, a name of the Ethiopian king, the seventh in the ancestral lines. Metshaf Aksum, or the Ethiopian Book of Aksum, identifies Ethiopis as the 12th king of Ethiopia and the father of Aksumawi. The Ethiopians pronounce Ethiopia as Ethiopia, with a sades or the sixth sound ae as in incorporate, and the graph phe has no equivalent in English or Latin graphs. Ethiopis is believed to be the 12th direct descendant of Adam. His father is identified as Cush, while his grandfather is known as Cam. In the 15th century Ge'ez Book of Aksum, the name is ascribed to a legendary individual called Ethiopis. He was an extra-biblical son of Cush, son of Ham, said to have founded the city of Aksum. The Greek name, from an Ethiopian, is a compound word, later explained as derived from the Greek words an, I burn, plus ps, face. According to the Liddell Scott Jones Greek-English lexicon, the designation properly translates as burnt face in noun form and red-brown in adjectival form. The historian Herodotus used the appellation to denote those parts of Africa south of the Sahara that were then known within the Ecumene, habitable world. The earliest mention of the term is found in the works of Homer, where it is used to refer to two people groups, one in Africa and one in the east from eastern Turkey to India. This Greek name was borrowed into Amharic as Tyya with Macron. Ethiopia. In Greco-Roman epigraphs, Ethiopia was a specific toponym for ancient Nubia. At least as early as c. 850, the name Ethiopia also occurs in many translations of the Old Testament in allusion to Nubia. The ancient Hebrew texts identify Nubia instead as Cush. However, in the New Testament, the Greek term Aethiops does occur, referring to a servant of the Candake, the Queen of Cush. Following the Hellenic and biblical traditions, the Monumentum Adulitanum, a 3rd century inscription belonging to the Aksumite Empire, indicates that Aksum's ruler governed an area that was flanked to the west by the territory of Ethiopia and Sesu. The Aksumite king Izana eventually conquered Nubia the following century, and the Aksumites thereafter appropriated the designation, Ethiopians, for their own kingdom. In the GEZ version of the Izana inscription, A is equated with the unvocalized BT and BT, of Bashet, and denotes for the first time the highland inhabitants of Aksum. This new demonym was subsequently rendered as BS, Apsh, in Sabaic and as Abasha in Arabic. Derivatives of this are used in some languages that use loanwords from Arabic. For example, in Malay Habziar.in English, and generally outside of Ethiopia, the country was historically known as Abyssinia. This toponym was derived from the Latinized form of the ancient Habash.